And we welcome you to the Albuquerque Convention Center in Albuquerque, New Mexico for the 50th American Bowling Congress Masters, presented by El Dorado, Silver Legacy, and Circus Circus. Hello, everybody. I'm Ron Thulin, and we welcome you to Fox Sports Net's coverage of the PBA Summer Tour. We'll be with you for 5 consecutive weeks beginning this afternoon. Let's take a look at the schedule and see where we will be the next couple of weeks. Next week, we are in Las Vegas for the Brunswick Senior Slam. Then it's on to Wichita for the Wichita Open, followed by the Tucson Open. And we wrap things up on July the 15th at the U.S. Open. That is in Phoenix, Arizona. And joining me this afternoon and throughout the year, he is a 12-time winner on the PBA Tour. Future member of the Hall of Fame, Randy Peterson. Now you're making the transition between the lanes and the broadcast booth. Tough transition.
Yeah, it is. I'll try my best, but it's a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to a lot of great action the next 5 weeks.
We have 5 finalists today in our television show, and of course it's a great combination of youth and experience, but our focus is on the top seed. He is number 2 on the PBA's all-time money-winning list. He's won 25 titles. Pete Weber, and we're going to throw a little fuel on the fire. Who's the better Weber, Pete or Dick?
Well, you know, it's a good debate. Dick Weber, 26-time titleist, one of only 2 players to ever win in 5 different decades. Pete Weber, going for number 26 today, if he does win today, will become one of only 2 players to win the Super Slam. That's all 5 majors. I got to give the nod to Pete. Sorry, Dick. In my opinion, Pete Weber, one of the best that's ever picked up a bowling ball. He's been fabulous this week, said his release is the best it's ever been. It's his tournament to lose.
He's making his 3rd appearance in the Masters final, and the other 4 have never been in a final of the Masters. Let's take a look at our field, beginning with the number 5 seed. He is 30 years old, out of Wichita, Kansas, the 1998 PBA Rookie of the Year, Chris Barnes. A touring pro rookie, Jason Duran, just 24, also from Wichita, making his first TV appearance. And the reigning Rookie of the Year, 32-year-old Paul Fleming. He is out of Bedford, Texas. And on a number 2 seed, he has won titles in 10 countries. From Finland, Mika Koivu-Niemi. And our number 1 seed, he is a member of the PBA Hall of Fame. 26 titles, looking for his first Masters crown, Pete Weber. And we start off with our number 5 seed against our number 4 seed. That's Jason Duran on the left, Chris Barnes on the right. And Jason says, Chris, you get to start things off, a little gamesmanship to begin things.
This is going to be a great match. You know, Jason, he had Chris's number in match play, beat him twice. Maybe a little redemption on Chris's side.
Well, as Chris said, it's tough to beat me 3 times in a row, sort of like the Lakers. Oh, Lady Luck was smiling on Chris Barnes.
How about that break? Trips a 2-pin forward. Nice way to start.
And here is Jason Duran, another former shocker. Both Chris Barnes and Jason went to Wichita State. This young man's in line to get his biggest paycheck of his career, and talking to him last night and today, showed absolutely no pressure. At 24 years old, just having fun.
How about that?
Well, he said the first ball is going to be the most important to sort of get into the groove, and he did.
Let's take a look at his form here. He's got real long arms. He's a tall guy, about 6'2", shoulder-high backswing, and look at that follow-through right at the target. And here's an answer to Chris's trip 2-pin, rather, dead flush.
In the match play, he usually struggled in game number 1. They had 3 game sets. Came on strong in games 2 and 3, but he does not have room for that today. It's a 1-game elimination. Well, he already has one 300 game to his credit, his first in PBA Tour competition, and he's got 2 in a row here. Here is Chris Barnes, has cashed and made match play in every tournament he's bowled this year. Ranked 5th on the PBA Tour. You gotta love it.
Now, this is interesting. You know, Chris had his best shot going straight all week long. And if you watch this, he's inside hooking it. In around the 3rd arrow, in between the 3rd and 4th arrow. And he's going away with the ball, and he drilled the ball last night to get it to react. And look at the 6 taking the 10 pin out, last pin the fall.
And he had problems hooking the ball. Changed balls yesterday during play. And there's a really early hook spot on that right lane we'll talk about when somebody moves over there. not going to get it.
Well, flat 10, the ball comes in late, you know, and that's what he's looking for. When he gets inside and he's trying to hook it, he's looking for recovery. He's looking for the ball to flip down the lane. A pinch fast on this condition, and that's what's going to happen.
Third championship round appearance for Chris Barnes this year.
2 others with a broken toe.
Finished 4th in Dallas and 4th in Vegas. And Duran with a 1-pin lead. Mother's here, Josephine, his brother Jacob, drove down from Greeley, Colorado. Said this young man had no doubt what he wanted to do when he was little. In fact, he even took a leaf out of the dining room table, waxed it, and was bowling on it when he was young, just to practice with a pillow to stop the ball.
Well, another great shot by Jason Duran.
And there's Josephine, his mom, brother Jacob on the right. Mom said, I wasn't nervous until this morning. She goes, I got an upset stomach last night. I was hurting this morning. They don't look it now.
Well, I'll tell you, Jason Duran, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He's got an 11-pin lead, looking to go 21 up. Looks like a great guy. He is a great guy, nice guy, but right now he's looking to maul Chris Barnes.
First full-time year on the PBA Tour.
Comes up a bit high, leaves a 610. Pretty good break there. He doesn't leave a split. Normally a hit like that, a lot of times you do leave a ugly little design up there. Right now his thought is to cover the 6 and the 10. He's going to switch balls so ball will go straighter and throw it straight and hard right at the 610. Shouldn't be a problem.
Waste very little time. Jason Duran, 3 strikes, has a 9-pin lead over Chris Barnes as our coverage of the ABC Masters from Albuquerque continues right after this. And welcome back to the Albuquerque Convention Center. Along with Randy Peterson, I'm Ron Thulin. We look at Chris Barnes trailing by 9 pins. The ABC Masters began back in 1951 as a clinic and a double elimination tournament in St. Paul, Minnesota, with a field of just 32, a field over 400 on hand this week, the largest ever.
Chris Barnes with a high game of 300 this week. Jason Duran also had a 300 against, guess who? Chris Barnes. Oh, yeah. How about that hit? Let's take a look here at Chris Barnes' release. It's incredible. Normally, folks think that in order to hook the ball, you got to rotate your wrist around. But if you watch Chris's hand, the bottom of the swing, his wrist rolls around and then back up. Look at that. One of the best releases in the games. Now, watch the action of the head pin. Goes to the sidewall, and here it comes. Just a little insurance in case the 10 was still standing.
You'd like to have insurance on that. Chris Barnes, an excellent athlete. Also an 8 handicapper in golf. Randy, you think he's sandbagging that 8 too?
Well, he's a great athlete. I've played a lot of golf with Chris. Excellent basketball player. This to take a 1-pin lead.
Yes! Got it. Very intense, Chris Barnes.
Little in the bag for Jason Duran. His strike ball is a Columbia 300 CUDA 2000. It's got a big crater of a hole down, which gets the ball to roll sooner. 600 grit, which also helps the ball to grip the lane. The one trouble players have had this week is getting the ball to hook.
He has no problem there.
That ball hooked just fine. That was dead flush.
Talk about the conditions. They're calling this a sport level condition. They tried it on a seniors event, and what they're trying to do is raise the level of the conditions of the lane and make it tougher. They want to have the cream of the crop really rise. So you can see he's guaranteed at least 7,000, so he's going to do a little bit better today. But the conditions of the lane have really favored almost a stronger bowler, correct?
Well, yeah, I agree with that. You know, the ABC always, to me, used to stand for another brutal condition, and this week was no different. There's a prime example of what happens when you get too fast. Your ball speed goes up just a fraction. The ball hydroplane sits on top of the hole and doesn't grip the lane. Watch this here. The ball looks like it's in a good spot, but just a tick too hard, and he leaves the 1, 2, 4, 6, 10. 2 rules of thumb when you shoot this spare: you can either throw a strike ball or throw it straight and hard just left of the head pin.
Well, he was up by 9 pins. Now he's down by 1.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
What a great spare under these conditions. First time on TV, bowling against one of the world's best. Steps up there and makes it like he's shooting a 5-pin.
From in the pit, let's take a look at it again. Great shot.
The head pin's going to go into the 2 and the 4, and the bowling ball takes out the 6-10.
The test of a great player is whether he can overcome an adversity, a bad frame. Jason Duran has just done that.
He's showing a lot of maple moxie right now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one way to put it. And Chris Barnes just doing what he does best, stepping up, knocking him down, and he's up by 11.
I'll tell you, when this guy gets going, folks, he's hard to beat. He's full of confidence, not to mention the fact that he's got a lot of talent. You get that combination going together, he's going to be tough to beat.
Graduated from Wichita State with a degree in business management, was an All-American back in 1990. Talking to him yesterday, had a delightful talk with him last night about his intensity. He says, I'm very intense because he doesn't like sitting down a lot. Walks around, talks to himself.
Well, Chris is definitely a player out on our tour that wears his emotions on his sleeve. This is to take a 21-pin lead.
Hook! Hook! That pin is afraid to fall.
We call that the shaker 10. You can hear Chris asking the ball to hook, or actually begging for the ball to hook. Again, same lane that Jason Duran just missed the head pin on. Watch this. 6 goes to the sidewall, doesn't have enough guts to get up and get the 10 out. Straight and hard, switches balls to a plastic ball, cut down the hook. Routine.
A little frustrated, but he does have the lead. Barnes up by 10 over Duran. We'll continue from Albuquerque right after this. First winner back in 1951 was Lee Juglar from Detroit. He won $620. First place today, $35,000. The ABC and the PBA have come a long way since 1951.
Hey, you know, $620 back then was probably a lot of money.
I wasn't around. Close, but not there yet.
We'll never know.
Jacob Duran just to the right of brother Jason. Jason Duran showing a lot of intensity. Trails, however, by 10 pins. He's in the 7th.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting style, the way he opens his hand as Mom Josephine watches. He really opens it up on the delivery.
Opens his hand up, gets it back underneath. You know, the thing that's most important is what happens at the bottom of the swing, where the hand position is at the bottom of the swing. Forget about what you're doing going on the way back. You can figure it, you can do whatever you want. But the one thing that the pros have in common is the position of the hand on the downswing, on the way down when the ball gets by their ankle. This to even the match.
And we are even.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks, that's very impressive. Right out of a commercial break, Jason Duran gets up and throws a double and says, all right, Chris, the game is now on. Watch his hand, folks. He opens it at the top, gets it right back underneath. Nice little rotation. Great fall through, great balance, great knee bend.
Works in a pro shop in Wichita, Kansas. So he's going to be probably moving back to Colorado, though, so he can travel full-time on the tour. Oh, having problems with the 10 all day, especially on that right lane.
Well, Chris, obviously unhappy with that. He's left 3 10 pins in the match. Everything else is strikes. 2 weak 10s and a ringing 10. That was a really good shot to keep the match even. Now he trails by 1.
The PBA Tour players convert about 99% of 1 pins left.
Well, you know, at this level, single pin spares are not a problem, and I'm going to tell you why. Watch these guys shoot spares. 99% of the guys throw the ball straight and hard at single pin spares.
Well, Jason Duran on pace for a 258 max. Chris Barnes only a 247. Jason Duran will be finishing off on the most difficult of the two lanes. It will be interesting. 9th frame for Barnes.
Foundation frame, 9th frame, very important to strike here.
And again, for the 4th time, the 10 will not go down.
You know, he can't make better shots. Plain and simple. He's doing what he has to do. He's getting up, he's making good shots, he's hitting the pocket. Watch this, the ball's going to be perfect. Right in the 1-3, and watch the second pin to the right of the screen go right around the 10 pin. And what an ugly break. Now again, straight and hard goes to a plastic ball that doesn't hook quite as much, and no problem.
Wife Linda on the Women's Pro Tour, and said he's celebrating his 11th month wedding anniversary today. But right now, having a little difficulty is young Jason Duran, his first television appearance. Up by 2. This is the 9th.
Do some really good stuff here. Strike here, and first strike in the 10th frame, and Jason locks the match up. Tees this one first. Well, folks, Ron, it doesn't get any better than that. This guy is getting up, doing what he has to do. 9 spare strike to win in the 10th frame, but watch this, folks. Notice how close that ball gets to his ankle. Look at the rotation. And that now, the difference between that and Chris's shot, the 6-pin took the 10 out there, where it wrapped around for Chris Barnes. That's the difference in the match right now. This is to win the match.
And he's got it.
How about that, folks? First time on TV with another strike here. Will be in the 250s, and again gets that great big break. The great break, the 6-pin taking the 10 out.
Well, his brother said he thought he would be nervous for TV. Jason said, I don't think I will be, because once I get the first ball in the pocket, I'll be fine. This is his dream ever since he was a young man. And he's living it tonight.
Oh, yeah.
What a way to finish.
How about that pin action, folks? That's why you throw a hook ball. Now, Jason Duran has a fill shot right here. All he wants to do is kind of test what the lanes are doing.
Jason Duran is the winner of match number 1. We will continue our coverage of the ABC Masters from New Mexico in a moment. And we will be moments away from match number 2 with Jason Duran on the left and Paul Fleming on the right. Fleming, the 32-year-old out of Bedford, Texas. Second year on the tour, the reigning PBA Rookie of the Year. A little late to get started on the Pro Tour, but he said when he was 31, he just told his lovely wife, Andrea, it's now or never. Got to make the move after a very good amateur career.
Yeah, and last year's Rookie of the Year, Paul definitely has what it takes to compete out on this tour. Oh yeah, how about that start?
First time on television in a singles event was in a doubles event at the National Senior Doubles in Reno, Nevada back in January. Now Jason Duran, now does he have to just almost take a step back and say, okay, that's over, because there's probably a lot of adrenaline flowing. Can he get too excited, start overthrowing the ball?
Well, you know, I think so. I think that he has to take a deep breath and really concentrate on this match. You know, he beat Chris Barnes 3 times now, but this is the next thing again. And he starts out with a perfect strike. Got to stay focused at the job at hand. Take a look here, folks. Notice the hand position, his fingers right underneath the ball. Nice push away. Notice how he opens his hand at the top of the swing, gets it back underneath, closes it up. Great balance and leverage. Eyes never leave the target.
You can see the high game of 300, low game 173, average just a shade over 223 for the week.
That ball coming in a little bit high, leaving the 4-7. That ball looked like it was a little left of target, but you know what? Not a bad shot. Now watch this. 2 pins to the left of the screen, folks. A ball just a little heavy on the head pin. Sometimes you get the pin to go to the wall and come over and trip those out. Sometimes you don't. When it's me, never happens.
It happened a couple times.
Again, straight hard to spare, no props. Remember, folks, when you shoot spares, throw the ball straight and hard, and never, ever run with scissors in your hand.
I'm going to write that down. And here is Paul Fleming, ranked 48th by the PBA. 1991, he was the U.S. Amateur Champion, an All-American at the University of Nebraska back in '89 and '90.
Oh, yeah.
No pressure for Paul Fleming, and he has a great demeanor. And I asked him before, about an hour or so before, I said, you know, you haven't shown any nerves. He said, I had him in the top 4 match. Now it's just exhaustion. You're grinding your way through this.
Look at that ball just kind of can open those 10 pins there. And, you know, it's really interesting because these guys are, both of them are playing pretty much around the same area on the lane. You know, the one thing that you have to watch for during the match is the lane's breaking down. You think you throw a good shot, the ball drifts high, you got to make an adjustment off of that. Oh, yeah. Absolutely perfect.
Well, do you think Andrea, his wife, who's up at a ladies' tournament up in Reno, can relax now? He thought she'd be on pins and needles the entire time.
Let's take a look at this. Great knee bend. Here's an athlete who's in the gym 4 times a week, folks. Look at that knee bend, follow through right at the target, and look at that position. And that ball's just perfect. Nothing but shrapnel left. Now Jason Duran down by 12.
Now we see if he can step up to this.
Well, we saw him leave that in the first match. You know, that ball was definitely right of target. Now this is the funny, or not, well, it's not funny, but watch where this ball hits the 3-pin almost right in the face. Doesn't touch the head pin or the 6-pin. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10. He made it the game before, but you know what? The frame before that he went high. A lot of times that'll influence your next shot.
Ooh.
Not able to convert, leaving the 1, 2, 4.
His first adversity that he has faced early on. Paul Fleming up by 38 pins. Jason Duran's mom can only watch.
Jason, deep breath. Forget about that last shot. We saw you do it time and time again this week. Deep breath. 10 in the pit right here. Get back on it. Just like that.
A lot of bowling left, but right now, Fleming with a 38-point lead over Duran. We'll be back. Along with Randy Peterson, I'm Ron Thulin. The number 3 seed and the number 4 seed, Jason Duran and Paul Fleming. And right now, Jason Duran finds himself down by 38 pins. Paul Fleming back up on the lanes. Once again, working the right lane, lane 28. The one that had an early hook spot early on.
Well, you know what? I think that early hook spot is now further right of the players. The lanes are breaking down. They're moving in.
Come on. Get out. Get out. Go!
And that is 4 in a row now for Fleming, and he's up by 48 pins.
Well, right out of commercial, just kind of ho-hum, just get up there and shred the rack in half. No big deal.
Let me ask you this. You go to commercial. Normally in match play, they just keep bowling. What's it like to have to sit there and wait when you know you're up? Because you have to do it.
Well, it's tough when you're my age. But these guys here, you know, like I said, great shape, great athletes. They sit there and they just kind of mill over what, you know, their game plan. They're trying to focus on their technique. You know, this week, a lot of guys are trying to throw the ball slower. These guys are focusing on the kind of shot that they want to make, visualizing that. This to take a 58-pin lead.
Come on.
We've had 9 300 games this week at the ABC Masters in Albuquerque. Fleming now still with a long way to go, but he's got 5 in the books. Jason Duran is at a 58-pin hole.
You know, he's got some work to do. This game is not over by any means, but bottom line, this guy right here, Jason Duran, he needs to start striking.
Just not getting it together right now. The young man that grew up just admiring Amleto Monticelli said he used to do imitations of him in his living room for his brother Jacob.
Well, Amleto's a pretty good player to be imitating. But right now, Jason has lost the right lane completely. Shot before that missed the head pin. This shot almost goes broken.
First open frame.
And just a mental mistake there.
Well, the first adversity really hit him in frame number 3. And you can see Paul Fleming's concentration.
Even though he's up by 70, he's still very focused on what he's doing. Mr. Fleming. Now Jason just trying to make some good shots here. All right.
Well, Paul Fleming really in a good position because history dictates that those that are in the number 2 and 3 seed usually have a better chance of winning this tournament.
This is what a pure strike looks like, folks. 6-pin goes to the wall, cuts the 10 out. And, you know, a lot better than the last 2 shots on the right lane. He hasn't had any problem with the left lane. Now, Paul Fleming working on a 5-bagger.
Yes.
That was quite the touch on that shot. He knew that ball was wide, yelling for it to hook. Had the good touch. This ball in between the 3rd and 4th arrow. Look at the revolutions on that ball. Looks like it's going to be light, just tickles the head pin at the last moment. We call that the blower 7. And he likes it.
He has 6 in a row, looking for 7. He's averaged just over 222 throughout the week.
Here's a guy with a 6-bagger. After the first round of qualifying, was 8 under 200 average. Not even sure if he was going to make the cut. 7 in a row, folks.
Up 90 pins. Jason Duran, the max he can get is 220. But still, this experience will take that man a long way, and if this man can continue, it will take him a long way, another level in his career.
Let's see what kind of adjustment Jason makes on this right lane. Light, high. Pretty good adjustment.
There he goes.
And he knows it. You know, he lost it. You know, the lanes break down over the course of a match or 2 matches. And he realizes that he lost the lane for a couple of frames, made the proper adjustment back into the pocket.
As the cliche says, maybe too little, too late.
Well, you know, right now what he wants to do is he's going to earn the biggest check of his career. He's going to take this experience back home with him, learn, and apply it in his very next tournament. Right now we want to get out of here with a good showing.
And he's putting on the show. And there's so much riding on this, from sponsorships, exhibitions, and everything. All of a sudden, Jason Duran's name becomes a household name in the PBA Tour and around bowling centers around the country. And keep an eye on this young man. He has shown us a lot this week.
Oh, yeah.
8 in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Set him up, he knocks him down.
Well, folks, you know, nothing serious going on here. Just 8 in a row for Mr. Fleming. Watch this ball. Another light shot on the right lane, but no problem. Oh, and by the way, 4 more. There's a little $10,000 bonus for a 300 game. Boy, he just loves it. This guy is in the zone.
I'd say he is right now.
Not to use the cliche, but this guy is really focused. You can see it in his eyes and his determination. And watch his eyes never leaving the target. That's for 9 in a row. What a great shot. Great shot and a great run.
8 in a row for Paul Fleming.
This ball looks good the whole way, you know, and his touch has been so good. That one he just caught a little bit too much of. The ball overhooks in the back end, just goes a little bit high.
Using the soccer-like ball, knocks down the spare. And Paul Fleming heading on to the next round. We'll be back right after this. Well, this match is over. Paul Fleming is the winner, but they're continuing to bowl it out right now. Jason Duran in the 10th frame, working on a strike. Paul Fleming After 8 in a row, spared in the knife, left the 4-pin.
You know, it was a great shot of Paul Fleming. Even though the match is over, you could still see the focus and concentration in his eyes, his face, his facial expression. Look at him. Not a deep breath, not nothing. He's still focused. He's thinking about what's going to happen in the next match. This guy is on it.
Mika Koivuniemi from Finland waiting in the wings. He will be Paul Fleming's next opponent.
Great showing from JD. I'm sure you'll see much more of this young man. Right now, Paul Fleming with a possible 279.
195 for Jason Duran. For Paul Fleming, even though it's over, you don't want to lose that groove. You still want to keep throwing.
Right, now notice on the right lane, he just got up and that ball went, that was almost dead flush. 6-pin went to the wall and cut the 10 off. The 2 shots previous to that, light mixer, light mixer. Lanes break down a little bit. He probably hasn't moved his feet any. He knows that the lanes are going to break down and the shot's just now coming to him.
Mika Koivuniemi has been in the practice lanes, just about 8 or 9 lanes down, warming up.
That's the way I do it.
Oh, that's sweet, though, man. That got you 12 titles, my friend.
Okay, the way I used to do it.
When you're just down to the last ball, as Paul Fleming is right now, you're still trying to learn something about the lane, seeing how far they've broken down?
Absolutely. You know, these shots are throwaway shots. You move in a little bit, move out a little bit, see what, maybe switch balls. You know, when you're shooting 279, you probably got the right ball in your hand. What I would do is I might move in a little bit to see just how much room I would have on the line.
What a job by Paul Fleming, 278. And he advances to the next round. And we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll dip into Randy's expertise with a little bowling tip. Stay with us. Advance, and he will take on the man from Finland, Mikko Koivuniemi. And I've got $5 that says Peterson can't say his last name.
Well, I could say his first name, Mika. That's as far as I get.
His family is back in Finland, over here in our country by himself. Said he knew he was a good bowler in Finland, but to get better, he had to come to the States, and he is proving it now.
Well, this is a real test for Mika today.
His first TV championship round appearance of the year. Good beginning.
Very nice. Gets up there. Ball's just a little light. Call that the swish. But you know what? 10's 10, my friend.
Exactly. Paul Fleming said he worked on more speed control this week.
Well, this was definitely a condition where speed control was everything. And the guys that could slow it down a little bit and still catch it, still get their fingers in it, they were the guys that bowled the best.
Picking up where he left off. The quiet intensity of Paul Fleming. Well, let's see who Paul beat in match play and how he fared. And of course, losing to Pete Weber last night, said that was a very disappointing loss, and then he pulled a bad third game, losing to Mika Koivuniemi last night.
A lot of games bowled there, folks. I think, gosh, I don't know how they do it. My hand would fall off.
Well, we were talking about that last night, how many games that Paul's had the ball.
This for a double.
Come on, get it.
Ball could talk that one down.
Sorry, Ron. Ball comes in a little bit light. Leaves the 7-pin. Rule of thumb here, folks. Move right on the approach to give yourself angle. Watch this ball. Just doesn't catch enough of the head pin. And he's open. Throws a couple pins over there in the direction of the 7, but none of them make contact. Now, is this soccer ball legal?
I love it. It's priceless.
Good look at Paul's footwork. Straight. No problem.
Mika comes up, of course, competing in Finland. He's won titles in 10 different countries, bowled over 100 tournaments in Finland. But what about the lane conditions over there? And then you come here to the United States.
Well, they usually bowl on a lot of hook. And that's one of the things that Mika struggled with here in the States is his speed control. He's getting a lot better at it. He had a really good winter swing. Looked like he was going to make the show at the tournament, at the Touring Players Championship. Kept working, and here he is today, looking for his first title. Now for a strike and a double. Nice little break. There's the commish, Mr. Gerberich, sir. Enjoying the action. Speaking of action, take a look at this. Oh yeah, and Mika loves that kind of hit.
Throws a 16-pound ball, drills his own balls most of the time. Did a little last year. He is big at 6'4".
6'4", 185 pounds. You know, it's hard for big, tall players to throw the ball slow. Holding the ball much lower in his stance to cut down the height of his backswing. Good tip for folks at home. Throw it slower. Uh-oh.
Whoa!
Well, Mika trying a couple of trick shots here early on.
And you can see how high he brings the ball back.
Take a look at this form, folks, coming right at you here. Real high backswing, big, tall player. But again, notice the position at the foul line. Eyes right on the target.
So the last couple of weeks in Finland, he has bowled extremely well. Was anxious to get back over here. Very confident coming into this tournament.
He's a good athlete. He likes to run, ride a bike.
Big spares.
Big spare. Fleming getting up in the third frame, trailing by 9. Working on a spare. I don't think Paul has missed the pocket yet. By the way, the bowlers are averaging 238 on the TV pair today.
He was getting those in his first round at the match today. Not getting them now.
Actually, I was a little surprised that ball got all the way back to the pocket. Watch how wide this ball gets. Lanes are obviously drying up a little to the right. But you know what? When the ball comes back that far, that much angle, it sometimes loses energy and didn't quite get the 5-pin to go all the way over into the 7. Should be a routine spare. Cross alley 7-pin.
How quickly it can disappear.
Well, again, you know, mental ass players of this caliber never miss spares like, well, I shouldn't say never, but.
Well, we talked about it, 99%.
Yeah, they don't miss spares like that. It looked like he had a little bit of problem at the foul line.
That's only the third 1-pin spare that's been missed on TV this year. Fleming trying to talk himself back up.
Needs to gain his composure.
Huge frame.
Push.
There you go.
Great job. A lot of bowling left.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, again, with the conditions being the way they are, here's a guy, Mika. Remember, speed control is everything. You're trying to get a guy that's 6'4" to try to throw the ball a little bit slower. This guy flames one just a pinch, and you could have a nice little design up there. It's still a horse race.
He lost it.
All right, well, you know, that ball caught enough of the head pin to only lead the 7. Now, we saw Paul Fleming whiff the 7-pin. Watch this ball here. It's going pretty straight, folks. We need a little more hook in the back end to get those pins over here, to mix them up.
I think he's doing us a favor. He's speaking in English, not in Finnish when he has a bad shot. So we wouldn't have to bring on a translator here.
Yeah, that's going to help us both out.
Alley has a 20-pin advantage over Paul Fleming as Fleming heads to the 5th.
The 4 shots that we've watched Mika throw, he went light, mixer strike, light, mixer, went high, and went light again. We haven't seen one ball flush. He's got a 20-pin lead. It's pretty good. Let's see if he makes an adjustment to try to get the ball to go more flush. I think it's a speed adjustment. I think he needs to get softer. You know, the one thing you want to watch for is that Mika likes to loft the ball, and when you loft the ball in bowling, it delays the hook.
Oh, okay for the novice. What do you mean by loft the ball?
Well, lofting it. Watch how far out on the lane the ball gets. Let's take a look here. Nice profile, holding the ball lower. Watch the ball go way above his head. Now watch at the release point, how far out on the lane that ball is getting. A good 6 feet, 4 to 6 feet out on the lane. That ball did go flush. The results, however, wasn't what he was looking for. Big ring and 10. Ugly, nasty ring and 10. Switches balls to a ball that goes much straighter to shoot the spare.
Al Fleming is down by 19, but he can cut it to 9 with a strike. This is a major opportunity for Paul Fleming.
Again, Paul hasn't missed the pocket yet. He's down by 19. Part of the reason, missed the single pin spare. I look for Paul to make a really good shot here.
Come on, come on, come on!
And as usual, right again, my friend.
He's been able to regroup.
That was a terrific shot.
You talked about his athleticism, and I think we're seeing it now that great athletes have a tendency when they do face the adversity, they're able to regroup.
Well, he knows a strike here will get him back in the match, folks.
Well, he'll take the lead by 1 if he does strike here. Well, the angles he set are big today.
Right, he's been playing the right angles all week, obviously. This here to take a 1-pin lead.
Get there, get there.
And it didn't.
Again, it looked like he had a little bit of a balance problem at the foul line. He didn't get into the slide the way he wanted to. Wasn't able to pose that shot or post that shot. And he gets a good break trip in the split out. He only leaves a 4-7. 6-pin standing. It's ugly. No problem on this one.
Cleans it up. Mika Koivuniemi of Finland leads Paul Fleming by 11. We'll continue our coverage from Albuquerque, New Mexico right after this. 7, the ABC Masters winner was Ray Bluth. Played in his hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. Also the hometown, of course, of Dick Weber.
And a guy named Pete Weber.
Who?
Pete Weber.
Hey, I'm going to start rooting for Dick because you already said Pete was the better player.
Okay, well,
I'm going to stick with Dick.
Well, I've always been a big fan of Dick Weber.
Mika Koivuniemi of Finland said he loves it over here in the States. He's adjusted to the food. He says, but people talk too much over here. I'll agree with that.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, what he wants to do right here is strike and maintain 11-pin lead. Hello. Another mixer, folks. You know, when he did go flush, he left a ring in 10. Maybe he should stay on the lighter side. You know what I mean?
Well, it has worked. This is a man that won $100,000 for a 300 game in Singapore. A bad little afternoon there, huh?
Nothing like going to Singapore and pulling down 100 G's.
Well, he said he bowled a 299 right before that, and he says, I got nothing. So that 1 pin was worth $100,000.
Doesn't sound fair. Strike here. Take a commanding 21-pin lead. All right.
Shatters the pins. Up by 21.
This is what we call high flush, folks. Watch this ball just squeeze the 1-3. And like a vortex, the pin just gets sucked right off the deck. And man, he likes it. Sorry.
Oh, that's great. Paul Fleming hasn't missed the pocket on this right lane. And it stays perfect.
How about that? A little wally, perhaps. And he needed that. This is what we call a wally or a mixer. Yeah, the ball comes in light, the pins do a little dance. And they all go down.
Telling himself to let it go.
And he is focused, talking to himself, putting nothing but good thoughts in his head, good mental thoughts.
Come on, roll, roll!
The door is still open. He's only down by 11.
What a great shot by Paul Fleming. He knows he needs to keep the heat on, or put some heat on, and that ball's just dead flush. And how about this reaction, folks? Oh, yeah!
Mika Koivuniemi in the 8th, leading by 11. The scoreboard.
Both players like to talk to themselves a little bit. You know, that's something that I found always worked for me.
There's a little finish for us, and it works.
What the heck did he say? I think that was, I got a 3-bagger coming my way and finish.
Well, hopefully it was better than what Tiger Woods said today at the U.S. Open, which I think it probably was.
Yeah. Well, we won't go there. But anyway, yeah, we feel sorry for those guys. Anyway, look, folks, here's the story. Mika's working on a 3-bagger, 21-pin lead, 9th frame, the foundation frame. 4-bagger here will give him a 31-pin lead going into the 10th frame. Very impressed with these guys. First time on TV coming out, shooting these kind of scores. Biggest shot of the week. Oh, just stepping up and just throwing it, just stuffing a couple 10 pins right down your throat. Here comes one high flush, folks. The high hard one coming your way. And he likes it. Just staring it down, going, come on. Well, I'm guessing that's what he's saying in finish. Come on.
I hope so. I think that's, we'll say that's what he's saying. 5 match play appearances for Koivuniemi, 5 cashes in 8 tournaments. Paul Fleming down by 31 pins. 236 is his max.
Come on! Come on! Come on! Go!
Still alive.
All right, folks, here's the situation. Fleming needs to throw 3 in the 10th to force Mika to get the first strike. Nothing but concentration going on in that chair. Some of the best bowling I've seen in a long time, folks. These guys getting up there, they're focused, they're talking to themselves.
Mika had the choice of finishing last, and he decided to finish last. That was almost putting a little more pressure on himself.
Well, you got to assume that he picked his best lane to finish on. Must strike.
Push! Push! Yes!
How about that? Now, folks, when Paul Fleming lets go of the ball and he's yelling push, that means that the ball is a little bit left of target, and he's asking the ball to push down the lane so it doesn't go high.
Right.
Now, that's balance right there. Look at how low he gets. Now he's yelling push. The ball's a little left of target. He's yelling for the oil to push the ball down the lane, make it break later. And he loves it.
But will Paul look back to frame number 3 when he left the 7th pin and open frame?
Man, tell you what,
It could cost him.
11 pins. That one frame. If he strikes, it's he's at a 250 clip. 2 more strikes in the 10th would have shut out his opponent. But you know what? We can't go back. We got to look forward. He needs a strike right here.
Come on! Get! Yeah!
Got it!
Well,
Mika Koivuniemi, it's up to him.
you know, Phil Jackson might be the Zen master of basketball, but you're looking at the new Zen master of bowling. This guy is solid as a rock, and he knows it. How about that reaction? Fantastic. He knows what he needs to do. You know what? He's telling himself, I'm going to do it. Not, oh, I hope I do that. He says, you know what? There's no doubt I'm going to get up there and make a great shot. He needs another one right here. This to put all the heat on Mika. Looking nasty.
Come on! Come on, throw it, baby! Yeah!
That's what it's all about on TV, folks. This is what we bowl for. Being that pumped up and making the shot when you have to.
Told me he had quiet intensity. Nothing quiet about that. And Mika needs the strike. He's running on 4 in a row. Needs at least 9. 9 spare strike would be a tie.
Anything less, Mika finishes third.
No doubt about it.
Well, that's pretty impressive. Going for his first title, a major. Gets up there and just a little sawed 5. Watch this shot, folks. Watch the head pin go to the sidewall. And Paul, obviously dejected. Great week for him. Bowled about as well as he could bowl. Fantastic showing. Now Mika wants to get it dialed in for the next match. Possible 257.
He'll be taking on the top seed, Pete Weber. And it is over. Mika Koivuniemi of Finland will be in his first PBA Tour final. He said this would be huge for his career. You have success internationally, but he understood that you have to have it here in the States. And our finals are set. The top seed and the number 2 seed. And in 1983, Pete Weber made his first appearance in the ABC Masters Television Final. As a youngster, nice pants, nice shirt, nice hair. Things have changed. We'll show you how much in our final.
There, 10th placers, my buddy Steve Wilson from Lake Worth, Florida, had an unbelievable match against Pete Weber. Left 2 solid 8s the last game in a 1-game roll-off to lose to Pete.
And the rest of the top 24.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. tied for 13th from Ocala on his way to Wichita, Kansas.
And rounding things out, how about Dana Miller-Mackey, a 16-time champion on the Professional Women's Tour. Became the first woman to advance to match play in the event since they became eligible. Sister of PBA champion Mike Miller. And there is Dana Miller-Mackey. Picked up some money in the tournament. Very impressive.
Husband Steve next to her.
And now we are set. Pete Weber on the right, Mika Koivuniemi. Weber has been in 2 Masters finals, has not been able to complete it. Finished second in 83, third in 85. He said this is the one title that has eluded him.
And Dick, I know you're watching. I think your son Pete wants to show you something here.
Said when he started his career, he wanted at least as many titles as his dad. One today would tie him at 26. And we have to mention also that some of you may know that Pete is under suspension by the PBA. He is suspended for conduct unbecoming and is effective through the end of the year, but this is not a PBA event. This is an ABC event, and that's why he is able to bowl in this, and also the US Open. So now that we've cleared that up, let's get back to bowling.
Mika looking to pick up where he left off the last match. Only hit flush 5 times, yet he still shot 246.
Sounded like he didn't like it as soon as he let it go.
Well, you know, it's hard to tell with Mika. Sometimes he makes that same noise when he strikes. So this ball is going to be light. Doesn't catch quite enough of the head pin. And leaves a 7-pin. Threw a lot of action over that direction, but unfortunately none of them were able to take out the 7-pin. Single pin spare, straight and hard, ball that doesn't hook.
Well, this isn't the first time that Mika Koivuniemi and Pete Weber have met in this tournament. He lost to Weber in match play, 627.
That's a sign of a guy who's becoming a professional. He took a little bit extra time, made sure he was ready.
Put it in a golf analogy, which a lot of the bowlers are excellent golfers, we might add, is you step away from that 3-foot putt when you're just not sure of it. You just take an extra second as Pete Weber continues his focus.
Pete over there milling over his next shot. Mika right now looking to put a little heat early on Pete.
Hold.
All right, folks, that was hold, and it did. And that's a big double for an 8-pin lead.
Superstitious Pete Weber. Started bowling well here in Albuquerque. Went to the same place for lunch every week. You see that bracelet? Those are magnets. Every other one's a magnet. Said he had problems with his wrist. The Japanese told him to try it. Did it. Hadn't had a problem since. Now he needs one to correct that.
Well, that shot was left out of his hand. He knew it as soon as he let go. Leaves himself another 3-6-10. And right now, Pete's just not real comfortable. He's not making the shots that he made all week. And he knew it immediately. Pete's having a little bit of trouble getting his motions intact.
First 4 frames, only 1 strike for Weber as we see his road to the finals. Steve Wilson, you've talked about that. Tiebreak, 7-13 apiece.
The only player in the tournament to go undefeated. That's how you get the #1 seed at the ABC Masters. Pete needs to get his emotions intact. He needs to take a deep breath, and above all, he needs to make a good shot here.
Twice he's up 3-6-10 in a row.
Oh,
A stubborn 10.
all right. Well, something to build on at least. That ball hit the pocket. Unfortunately, the messenger came across to look for the 10, and it didn't find it. He's got to make more shots like that. He's going to get back into this.
Trails by 12. Koibuniemi working on 2 in a row.
Mika could really put a lot of heat on Pete right now. Working on a double. This to take a 22-pin lead. How about that one, folks?
He has regrouped since opening up with a couple of spares. He now has 3 in a row. Yeah, we've seen some young players today, and you can see the last one, the pins. Koibuniemi is 33 years old, but still, some of these first-timers on television have shown a great deal of fortitude today and the ability to regroup after a little bit of adversity.
Well, he may be a first-timer to the U.S., but this guy's bowled all over the world. Definitely no amateur. This to take a 32-pin lead.
Mika Koibuniemi has really turned it on here in the finals. He leads by 32. Koibuniemi leads by 33 while we're away. Weber spared in the 6th, finally struck in the 7th, only his 2nd strike of this match. Koibuniemi in the 7th. Hold. And it does hold. We've got a second. We'd like to pass on our best wishes to the sister of Bob Learn, a PBA touring pro. Tammy Komet underwent heart surgery in Erie, Pennsylvania. Tammy, get well quickly.
Yeah, and all our wishes and thoughts and prayers go out to Bob Learn and his family. Right now, Pete Weber could use a little praying right now. Mika working on a 5-bagger. He's looking to put a serious whooping on Pete Weber. This for a 6-bagger and a 53-pin lead. Oh! Folks, that is called a solid 8, and you can't make a better shot than that. The only true tap in bowling, and that is just pure bad luck. Watch this action. The head pin goes to the 2-pin and gets to the 5-pin before the ball does, and the ball goes right by it. Keep your composure, make the spare.
And he does. 256 could be his maximum. Weber can only do as well as 235. Pete working on a strike from the 7. A Hall of Famer, 1998, trails by 32 pins. Won over $2 million in his career.
Does what he needs to do.
It wasn't pretty, but they went down.
That's okay. He knows what he needs to do, folks. He needs to strike, and strike a lot.
He talked about to us last night about staying behind the ball this whole week.
Well, what Pete did was he untucked his pinky. Normally tucks his pinky. And what happens when you do that is it causes you to rotate around the ball. This week we've talked about the amount of oil on the lane and how much the guys have tried to roll it. If you notice, Pete is not tucking his pinky. That helps him to stay behind it and roll it. That's what we expect out of Mr. Weber. He knows he's behind the 8 ball. He knows he has to do nothing but strike.
3 in a row. There is a glimmer of hope, but this man can put a damper on that quickly right now. Up by 22, 237 pace was only 2 better than Weber. Cannot afford to make a mistake.
Big hit here. Wow. I think Mika translated means really good.
He shows absolutely, and you talk about Pete Weber being fearless. Now Mika with the opportunity to put this one in the books. A strike will win it. Pete Weber will be done.
Biggest shot of Mika's career right here.
Oh
my. What a huge break. That ball was going right through the face.
We were looking at a split big time there for a while.
What a huge break. Watch this. This ball is going right through the schnoz. For a minute, you see the big 4 standing. Oh, it almost struck. Very great. What a great break, just leaving the 7-pin. Now, make the spare. Oh, no.
That ball started to hook. It looked like that may have a chance of slipping by. He needs 9 to win. Leads by 21 and put it away. Nothing Pete can do.
I'll tell you what, you don't want to give Mr. Weber a chance in the 10th frame. So 9 or 10, and we can go home with the check and the trophy. That's it. He's a winner.
We got it, brother.
Okay, brother.
And Pete just finishing things up. Mika Koivuniemi from Finland. His wife Lena back in Finland. His daughter Ida also back in Finland. He's got a very exciting phone call coming up in his life. He is our winner. We'll be back. Nightly, the National Sports Report brings you all the scores, highlights, and news at 10 and 12 p.m. The National Sports Report nightly right here on Fox Sports Net. Mika Koivuniemi getting the $35,000 first place check from the ABC Executive Vice President Tom DeChalis. Congratulations, Mika. What an effort by this man.
You know, I'm really impressed. His first time on TV, and he showed us what he's made of. He showed everybody that he belongs out here on our tour. All that international experience paid off.
Congratulations to Mika Koivuniemi. He wins by 1 pin in the finals of the 2000 ABC Masters Championship. He is our champion. Congratulations, Mika. For Randy Peterson and our entire crew in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the ABC Masters, I'm Ron Thulin. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week in Las Vegas.